Just about everything in our society today involves some sort of product. Everything from your phone to the chair you're sitting in has its origins with an entrepreneurial-minded individual who developed and executed his idea. Now that person that created your chair probably failed repeatedly, and he was probably told that his idea was stupid. Why create another chair when there are already thousands out there? Yet you are currently sitting in his chair. Now, was the person who created your chair an entrepreneur? Absolutely. But not because he was a businessman. It was because he tried to create a better product, to solve a problem. That's why he is an entrepreneur.
Now compare the way we teach this entrepreneurial attitude to our young people with how we teach them athletics. Take Michael Phelps, 23-time gold medal winner and undoubtedly one of the greatest athletes and champions of our time. But did Michael Phelps get to where he was today by reading books about swimming and just hoping to be a better swimmer? Of course not. Michael Phelps was in the pool since the age of 7. Now, entrepreneurship is a sport just like any other, except we teach our athletes to try and fail from a young age. The Michael Phelpses of the entrepreneurial world were the ones who realized this and who were trying and failing during a time of their lives when they had the luxury to. All great athletes start when they're young, and they fail constantly, but because of these factors, they can become great. But it's clear that this entrepreneurial mindset is not being taught, at least widely, to our young people. And so what? People are always going to create companies and jobs, and the world will keep on spinning. But being an entrepreneur is about so much more than just sales and products. Being an entrepreneur is about realizing and addressing problems. It's about seeing opportunity where others might only see failure. And it's about carving your own path through life and challenging the status quo. We as young people are taught to work hard in school so that we can get good grades, so that someday we might grow up and get a good job. But why not create a new job? Why not go out and use all your youth and your passion and your energy and your freedom to create something, rather than sitting back and consuming the paths for your life that people lay out for you? Our society is governed by creators, not by consumers. Our society is governed by entrepreneurs. You know, we high schoolers, we young people, we love to complain about how hard and stressful our lives are, and we're not necessarily wrong. But between SATs, schoolwork, homework, after-school jobs, and just being a kid, it can be hard to realize that you as a young person are in a perfect opportunity to take a risk and create something. Now, you might be fortunate enough to not have to worry about paying bills every month or putting food on the table for you or your family every night. And this is probably the last years of your life where you're going to have this incredible freedom. But still, people brush off this attitude as being for adults or being for smarter, more capable people. And because we grow up in this age of incredible technology, it can be hard to see that the barriers to entrepreneurship have never been lower. All you need today is an internet connection and a drive to create. At what other point in human history can you press some buttons and within seconds be learning about the economic impact of our last Olympics, or International Talk Like a Pirate Day, which is September 19th, in case you were wondering? Wikipedia alone has over 5 million unique articles, but these aren't just random pieces of text to be memorized for a test. These are 5 million incredible, unique experiences and opportunities to learn from. And this learning breeds immense possibility.
Ever since I was young, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I looked to daily products in my own life as inspiration for new ones. One morning, as I brushed my teeth, I questioned the toothbrush, wondering how and why was it developed. After my research, I came out with no inspiration for a new product, but rather an appreciation for the toothbrush. Soon after, I found myself talking with Hugh, where I decided to share some of my newfound knowledge. For example, over 4 million days of work and school are wasted each year in the United States alone because of oral health diseases, many of which are preventable by simply brushing one's own teeth. We continue to talk about how in our society we lack an understanding of the toothbrush's preventative medical applications because of its wide availability, and how in other parts of the world many lack these supplies. We then floated the idea of creating a nonprofit that would collect and distribute toothbrushes to those in need. Now, were we the most qualified individuals to do this? Not at all. We had no experience in the dental or nonprofit sector. Heck, we didn't even have our driver's license yet. We had no idea how difficult this would be. Our sheltered, naive high school minds simply ignored this. But this is one of the greatest advantages that we as young people have. We lack an understanding of how difficult our idea of venture, vision may just be. And we get ourselves involved in something that, had we known from the beginning would have been this difficult, we might not have gotten involved so fast. Now fast forward 6 months. We had created a name, logo, and a really not so great website. But now it was time to start fundraising. Our first idea was a dodgeball tournament, and the tournament flopped. With 12 kids showing up, it was humiliating as it was disappointing. But through this, we learned to persevere and to not get weighed down by failure. And with this mentality, we soon found ourselves in another opportunity, this time outside our local Walmart, where we planned to ask people to purchase and then drop off toothbrushes. Now when we first got there, I was pretty timid, and I kind of stood by the door and wishfully hoped that people would ask me why I was standing out there. But as the minutes rolled by, I soon learned that that wouldn't be the case, and I kind of pushed myself to shyly ask people, hi, I was wondering if you could buy a toothbrush or something. But I was rejected by every single person that I asked. So I started to soon experiment with different approaches. And I found that saying sir or ma'am, smiling, and speaking with confidence were the keys to getting the most donations. Still, people laughed at us for what we were asking them to do. But one of the most memorable pitches that I gave that day was when this really big biker dude sort of got off his motorcycle and started walking towards Walmart with this demeanor as if he did not want to be approached. But I pushed myself, and kind of shaking, I came up to him and told him a little bit about Mission Toothbrush and what we were doing that day. But he abruptly shut me up. He said, toothbrushes and toothpaste. You got it, man. What you're doing is great. I was shocked. By getting out of my comfort zone, I learned that not judging a book by its cover really does carry merit. But more importantly, I learned to have confidence in my idea and in what I was saying. Many of the things that we did were successes, but most of the time they were failures. It was our youthful energy, passion, and inexperience that allowed us to fail, but to come out as a better organization and as better people. Take our high school system. With 45 minutes allocated to a class, we were told when to come, when to eat, and when to learn math. Yet this was different. We were the ones creating the rules. When and where would we spend our time? What was the most effective method for collecting, recording, and then distributing toothbrushes? This was the opposite of everything that we had experienced before, and gave us insight into the entrepreneurial world. No longer were we just passive consumers, but rather active originators.
Now, if you were to tell us back when we first had this idea that Mission Toothbrush would have raised over $25,000 in supplies over the past 4 months, we probably would have thought you were joking. But it's not the successes that we've mostly learned from, it's the failures. And we haven't just learned how to successfully run and manage an organization, but we've learned something that's so much more important. That we as young people have everything to gain by taking a risk and creating something. And along the way, we'll have these incredibly unique learning experiences that we otherwise would have never gotten. And learning these skills now is invaluable with so much of our life ahead of us. In a society that's governed by entrepreneurs, we can all have a better grasp of the world that we live in by being the ones who try and change it. Thank you.